Rugby League is back.
Drum roll, please.
You're a true Warriors fan.
I have no recollection of that hot take.
We don't all have to agree.
It's good to be back.
It's just a really boring team.
Oh, no.
Start winning some games.
I think there'll be a lot of changes to the team.
I've got them making the 8 for mine.
Let's go. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Advantage Line TAB's Rugby League Betting Podcast. My name is Carl Tiley, back in studio with my good mate, Paul Mawate. Paul, another big week of footy.
Huge. It had just about everything, to be fair. Golden points all over the place. We'll get to that a wee bit later, I'm sure. But yeah, just another fascinating round of NRL footy.
And I'll go to Nick Tedeschi, bring you in here. I nearly had another clip to run this week, but I forgot. But Doggies plus 17.5 last week. You said no, but it happened.
Yeah, it really hit the worst of both worlds for me. The Storm didn't cover it. The Bulldogs didn't get the 2 points. So that was great fun. Bulldogs much improved. I kind of thought maybe this was a bit of a flash in the pan, but they've changed their attacking style. They're getting early ball to their outside men, particularly kick out in particular, and they're not running these stupid slow block plays. The minute we get a halfback in there, we might start winning a few games. So a halfback currently acts like a prop. He does more hit-ups than half our props, just quietly. So in Drew Hutchison, hopefully we see a bit of Toby Sexton soon. But, I for the first time in a long time, bit of hope at the Bulldogs, because I reckon that was the first time. Last 2 weeks have been the first 2 weeks since early Des Hasler and the Bulldogs, where the Bulldogs have played fast. They have traditionally played slow, meticulous, grinding football. Even at the back end of Hasler, that's exactly what we did. And to see us play with a bit of speed, bit of width, really good to see. And good to see the Fox back too. See, like the Bulldogs, I hate the Bulldogs. You can't hate the Fox. He's a great watch.
He is a great watch. Scored a few tries. Third man in here, or fourth man in. I reckon he could play halfback for the Dogs after you, Teddy. It's our good mate Surly from Surly Talk Sports. Surly, how you going?
Yeah, mate, I'd give it a crack. Link up with my old mate Josh Curran and see what type of damage we could do. It's not hard. Just pass the ball to Kickow and see what happens. That guy's an absolute freak at the moment. So
if the advantage line here, there's 4 that we've got right now, if this is the spine, okay, and you've given the halfback spot to Surly, where do you slot the rest of us in?
I'll take the 6. Teddy goes into the hooking role, and you're at the back.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure I've got the speed to play fullback, Carl. So I think I need one spot left for me.
Although Teddy, surely you're at the back.
I am good at yelling stuff though, Carl. So I can get people.
Yeah, maybe I'll go at the back, so I'm separated from the abuse from Ted.
You've heard my voice, Carl.
All right, fellas, straight into divided opinion this week, and it's a bit different. I'm hoping we will get a few divided opinions here. There was a couple of golden point games last week, and the Warriors v Manly game and the Raiders v Titans. I've asked you all to do some homework, prepare some alternates to golden point. Teddy's looking at me like he hasn't read the run sheet again.
I have read the run sheet, but I've got a very boring answer.
Well, we'll start with you then, Teddy. Your
call
alternate.
me crazy, call me a traditionalist, call me boring as hell, but nothing wrong with the draw. That shouldn't even be golden point. Totally get 1 point. I love how it separates the ladder. I think it's a fair result at the end of the day. I think, if you can level the point, I really don't understand why. Like, I know this is an entertainment spectacle, so that's why they go to golden point and want to carry it on. But a draw is a draw, and that penalty goal after full time to level the scores when Sean Johnson took a dive. Well, that was.
Whoa!
Hang on.
Yeah, unfortunately, Teddy won't be with us for the rest of the season.
It was absolutely a penalty, but he certainly played it up and gave me his red hot go. But that was a great finish to the game. And the 10 minutes of rot we saw afterwards, added nothing to it for mine. So draw for me.
All right. Searling.
I agree with Teddy, but then the other half of me wants to keep the entertainment factor at an all-time high. So I wouldn't mind if we were to change something, then we run with a similar method to what the NFL do. So if a team kicks a field goal, then the opposition team gets one set to score a try to end it. Or if that first team that scores a point scores a try, then it's game straight over. That way we might not see the field goal fest that we see at the moment, where teams are just trying to march up the field and bang one. We might see teams going for a try. So I think we could learn a little from the NFL if we are to make any tweaks, but also agree I got nothing wrong with a draw. If we play 80 minutes and the teams can't be separated, then they both deserve a point.
Have you got anything with a bit more flair?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I
me
do.
too. These guys are boring.
Yeah, I'm taking a leaf out of football's the round ball game. Taking a
I
leaf out
believe
of
they
there.
call it soccer in Australia and New Zealand, Paul.
Yeah,
Soccer football really rolls people up.
yeah. And if PVL wants this, he can have it for free on no charge. I suggest a penalty shootout, and you start from the right in front, right on the 20, okay, and you start with the other team nominates who takes the kick.
Oh, like that.
And so it's best of 5, right? So obviously, the prop, what's his name? Yeah, we'll take him. And then if it's still equal after the first 5 kicks, then it's sudden death from there on, and you can only take 1 kick until you've gone through the whole team. Then you go back around here. But the first one is right in front. Then the next one, you move out 2 meters to the sideline, and then you gradually keep moving out as well. There, it's a brilliant idea. I know Teddy cannot believe how brilliant.
I cannot believe it. That's exactly right. I cannot believe it.
It happened in rugby, didn't it? We had it in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yes.
There was locks and flankers banging them over from all over the paddock. We all know forwards love practicing their goal kicking before training, so this just gives them a genuine option to be able to validate while they're doing so.
Yeah, a la Zinzanbrook. Teddy wouldn't know that. We almost signed for the Manly Seagulls when Graham Lowe was there, so almost made it to the league game.
Never heard of him.
Before I do mine, can you turn my headphones down a little bit? You're yelling in my ears.
So it's only going to get worse when I have my reply to Paul.
You want to reply to Paul's alternate there, do you?
I'll save mine till after yours, because I reckon yours is going to be just as hilarious.
Well, it's a mix. So I've got 2 here. One's very Larry, and the first one I'll go with is a little bit Larry. We change it to golden try, but for every set that both teams complete, a player drops off.
That's NHL style, yeah.
That's like a mix of
Yeah, look at
touch as
Teddy.
well.
Yeah.
That's like a mix of touch with the old drop off.
All of a sudden, Teddy's thinking, love the penalty shootout now.
You imagine, we got 4 sets, we're down to a game of 9s. It could get.
There are 2 premiership points on the line here. So I was like, why don't we just get 5 different players selected from each team, and they all ride a horse out, and they have a duel in the middle of the field? But then you get 3 points if you knock the red helmet off, but you get 7 points.
Shit, that's a good idea, Teddy. I like what you're thinking.
That's all we need. Just needed this brainstorming.
I didn't think these ideas had to be in the bounds of reality and common sense.
I will add on my one. I was going to say both teams get 1 point regardless, and then you're playing for the second point.
Well, that just hurts the integrity of the competition, no?
Why?
Unless you give 3 points out for every game.
No.
Well, you can't just add an extra point to a game because it's gone to golden point.
But if both, you can. Yeah, you can.
Well, under this penalty shootout and players dropping off after every set, of course you can. Why don't we just give 100 points?
I don't mind that, Teddy, actually. 3 points for a win, 2 points for a golden point win, 1 point for a golden point loss.
Well, that's Buzz Rossfield's idea, so that's where we're at with that one. That's certainly not my idea.
Can I give you my second idea? Because I feel
Is that the coaches Is that the coaches have a run it straight, and whoever wins the collision at halfway gets the points?
You're not far off. Tim.
Certainly
far
not
off.
wrong here.
Because Ricky Stewart against Des Hasler on the weekend would have got bums on seats.
You're not far off. I was going to say, it's a good old-fashioned foot race, and we get the slowest men from each team to line up under the sticks, and then it's just a 100-meter sprint to the other end. But to keep the integrity in the there's got to be some sort of carrot.
Oh, there has to be integrity. Yeah, I like this.
Once teams are named on Tuesdays, Wednesdays they've got to do the official 100-meter sprint, and it's the slowest time from there. But to avoid Dallin.
Who would have thought Josh Adokar, the slowest man at the Bulldogs?
You've got to have some sort of incentive for these guys to want to run fast. So that's the second idea, just a foot race.
I didn't realise we were doing the Alice in Wonderland podcast and not the NRL podcast. the amount of I think even Vince McMahon would be shocked at some of the off the planet ideas. If Ricky Short thought Des was off the planet, I'll tell you what, Carl and Paul, they are well and truly gone. They're out of the universe.
Oh, gee.
Well, the segment's called Divided Opinions. We certainly got
Yeah,
that. It might be
I will give you guys this. There are some great ideas for some halftime entertainment at the grand final. I would love to see both of those happening, but not for premiership points.
Well, maybe you're too old school. You got to get with the times, Teddy.
Yeah.
Times are changing.
You know me very
Tim's
well.
not
You know
good
me very
like
well,
that.
Carl. I'm never getting with the times in any facet of my life.
Walt Whitlam is no longer the Prime Minister, but all right.
Off.
Right. Anyone else got any ideas, or should we move on? Done. Moving on.
Tough to beat.
Tough to beat. Let's review the weekend, and we're going to start things off with the betting from last week. This might cause some debate too. Paul, you've got the sheet there.
Yep. Oh,
I've got the
yeah.
I've got the bets. We'll start with you, Paul. You had $100 on the Doggies plus 16.5, the Wars head-to-head, Sharks head-to-head, Raiders head-to-head. A little collect there for you.
Yep.
Undeserved collect.
Hey?
Undeserved collect. Thanks, Canberra.
There's nothing undeserved about it.
Thanks, Josh Alloy.
It was a half divvy though, with the Wars unable to get the win, but hanging on for the draw. So plus 158.14. I'm now down $80.86 for the season.
Here he comes. Teddy, you had 70 on the Bunnies plus 7.5 and 30 on the Dragons plus into Storm minus 16.5.
Not ideal.
Not ideal.
Not ideal. No, it was a the Bunnies almost covered there. They had that. And Kaloma Tangi in goal. He's on the list of people I will never forgive after that one. So completely in the seat. Absolute milk drinker.
I had 80 on the Chooks plus, Warriors head-to-head into Dragons plus for a wee collect. Plus 20 on the Dallin Wateni Zelezniak double at $5, which saluted with 51 seconds to go.
I thought of you as soon as that log there, Carl.
How much did I make, Paul?
213.71. You are now 412.71 up for the season.
You hear that, punters? You hear that? The next one, Blake, $60 on Manly plus 6.5 into Storm 13 plus. No. He did have a collect here though, $30 on the Roosters head to head at 240. And then he had a 3-leg anytime try scoring multi with Api Kotosau, Wade Egan, and Harry Grant. Did not collect. Blake's results for the season.
He is down 165 for the season.
And Surly.
Enter controversy.
Ben Searle. No bets given last week. I vote that we default his $100 and he loses it. Paul seems to think that he can't because he didn't spend it. Teddy,
Deciding
given
vote.
you're the deciding vote.
I think he puts 200 up this week.
Yeah,
Oh,
agreed.
I was not expecting that.
Either 200 up or I put 100 on and then me and Carl have a running race and the winner at the end decides and then we'll have a penalty shootout and then jousting.
You don't want that. I'm pretty quick over 40.
Oh, I wouldn't back you on a horse though, Carl.
I reckon I could have had I could guess what your bet would have been last week though, Sealy.
It would have been Warriors 13 plus, 100%.
Warriors 13 plus into a Dow double into Marcelo Montoya to run 400 meters and Wade Egan to score 5 or something like that.
I had the Dell double. I was on it with you, so that was a lucrative day for both of us there. That was nice.
Yeah. All right.
I was on the over 41.5 in that one, and to say I was cursing Sean Johnson after that one next to the post, and then was just cursing until he actually slotted it over right on that. I thought they weren't going to take the kick. I was very concerned about that.
Yeah. So we're not in agreement, but Sealy gets 200 this week then.
You beauty.
Tipping comp. I didn't see the weekly results, but Blake's sitting 6th overall.
He is.
Teddy is 76th overall. He is half a point in front of me and 79th. Paul is 238th out of 350. And Surly, I couldn't find you. Are you in our tipping comp?
Wow.
I've really dropped the ball here. It's sisters. I'm behind Paulie. Let's put it that way.
I reckon if you start now, you can still beat him.
No, I back myself too. I'll be signing up today. Absolutely.
Right, game on. Here we go.
Look how
That's all I needed.
All right, into the games. Knights 20, Roosters 22. Surly, I'll start with you. Joey Manu runs right at fullback, and Roosters get the dub. What do you think of this game?
Yeah, it's another kind of Roosters win where they're just so up and down at the moment. It's been a real roller coaster for them this season. Obviously, Joey Manu was exceptional, and he celebrated it by signing a lucrative deal with Japanese rugby. So well done to him. I'm sure Ian Foster was excited to see that name pop up onto his roster for next year. But yeah, I had the Roosters to win this game, so I'm glad they did. It could have been a slightly different result if Ponga hadn't picked up that hip pointer niggle there. But well done to the Chooks, and really looking forward to their game against Manly this week, because I think that one's a coin toss. Oh, sorry, the Storm this week.
Storm? Yeah.
The Storm this week, yeah. Like Manly are living rent-free in my mind.
You're in disarray. Teddy. Storm 16, Dogs 14. Adokar 3 tries. The Dogs give up a soft one with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, very disappointing and unsurprising, but that's just the way it goes when you've got teams who just don't know how to win. Just can't close it out. You look at a team like Penrith who always manage to find a way to win. Storm have been a bit the same this year, and the Dogs just have barely won a game over the last 6-7 years, so they just don't know how to get it done. Vastly improved though. Like, that's as impressed as I've been. The last fortnight is as impressed, other than that second half against the Roosters. Impressed as I've been with the Bulldogs. They're playing some good football. Burton's starting to kind of find his rhythm and making a nice combination out on the left with kick out. Bronson Sherry's really come in, and I was super pleased that Connor Tracy's kept his spot at fullback. I thought he was outstanding for the Bulldogs last week. I think he has a lot more creativity. He's a lot safer under the high ball and got a bit more size about him as well. So. From the Storm, I just really don't know what to make of the Storm at the moment. Their 8-0 win against the Panthers in round 1 was about as gritty and tough as it gets. They can score points at will against the Broncos, then let in 30, but then just went completely to sleep against the Bulldogs. I'll find them probably the hardest team to handicap among the really good teams this year, because they've got the ability there, and on paper they're really good, but then they're like. No, the Bulldogs have not really matched with any team through the middle all year, and they did against the Storm. So that's got to be a concern. And obviously their forwards are a worry. Like Josh King's playing big minutes now in a middle role. Apparently Arrow's playing lock, and I'm not sure he's the answer there. So they haven't had Nelson and Tui on the field at once all season. So yeah, we'll see where the Storm are at. But yeah, unimpressive by the Storm. Better by the Dogs, but Storm got 2 points.
Yes, they did. Paul, Broncos 28, Dolphins 14. The Finns gave the Broncos 3 tries.
Yeah, and I guess they were hampered slightly by the hammer doing his hammy. So he's a big loss for them. But don't forget, the Broncos have been without Payne Haas and Adam Reynolds. I'm not sure when either are coming back. Not this week anyway. But boy, I thought the scoreline in the end flattered the Dolphins, 28-14. I thought the Broncos looked very, very good. They just, I think at the beginning of the season, Teddy said you usually fade a losing grand finalist or something along those lines. But these guys seem to be performing above expectations at the moment. So I've been really impressed by the Bronx, and I thought they did really well. Reece Walsh once again. I can't remember who passed him the ball, but it was a fantastic pass. Reece had no one to beat once he got the ball, that length of the field try. But whoever, I think it was the centre who passed him the ball, he stepped into the tackle to take that player out and just give Walsh that free space. I really like the look of that. They look like a very very good team, even though they're outside the 8.
You say the score flattered the Dolphins. Teddy, I reckon opposition teams will be looking at how easily the Dolphins scored those last 2 tries.
Yeah, I take a very different view of the Broncos and Paul. I thought the score flattered the Broncos. They got, 3 long-range tries in the space of 5 minutes. So they've obviously got that ability in them, but this is a team that got jumped 10.5-point favourites. Dolphins lost Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, 20 minutes into the game. They were entitled to win that game by plenty for mine. A couple of soft tries, Broncos switched off. I think one thing you'll find at the Broncos, I think Lee Greers has done a great job with their attack. He's been there and really worked on it. I'm not sure there's a defensive backbone there at the moment for the Broncos, and I think they can be beat. But yeah, Dolphins obviously weren't the team to do it last week with all the injuries. So, I'd be concerned about some of those defensive laps. So I'd also be concerned about the fact you're playing Corey Oates now as well. Is there anyone who is more entertained to watch the NRL than Corey Oates when he's having a bad night? He looks like a fresh-born baby giraffe. He's all over the stumbling and carrying on. Best thing he did for the Broncos the other night was kept running because he didn't hear the whistle and got the hammer to do his hammy.
A fresh-born baby giraffe. Wow. Something I never thought I'd hear on the advantage line. There you go.
It still sits below a goal kicking shootout and a sprint as the most ridiculous thing of today's podcast.
When that's the 4th weirdest thing to be said on the advantage line this week, it's a show.
Sealy, I know you're a big fan of the Razzle, and I just want to touch on Jermaine Sarko's try at the end of that game.
Freakish, man. Freakish. And I agree with everything that Teddy basically said as well. Sorry, Paulie. But I struggled a bit with this game, I just didn't find it as entertaining and high quality as I thought it was going to be. I think the Broncos were lucky to come away with points in this one. And I thought Redcliffe actually held their own up until the end there. And it was a real shame to see the hammer gone. But yeah, that last try, Razzle Deluxe. Yeah, I don't know about the Dolphins. I think a lot of people touched on it over the last couple of weeks, but that start to the season, their wins were against some weaker sides. So I'm interested to see how they track now, especially with a few injuries to the likes of Flegler and the hammer. It's going to be interesting to see how they track from here on out.
That's a problem for the Dolphins, their depth.
Now.
And who was it right before the season started? The back rower, who was going to be a big part of that forward pack for the Dolphins, out before the season started. So, yeah, they're going to struggle.
All right, Warriors 22, Manly 22. Warriors fought back from 18-0 down, but Teddy, they were pretty bad. Some soft tries to Manly early doors.
Yeah, they really just didn't come out of the blocks, which is surprising. The Warriors have tended to jump pretty well this year, and they just weren't on song early. Could have been more. Corey Riddle's failure to pass from Tommy Turbo when he would have strolled over early on, doing favours. And I don't think Manly were particularly red hot early in the game. The Warriors just kept dropping the ball and weren't really going there. Credit to them, they came back and if you can't enjoy watching Shaw Johnson play football, You just don't like rugby league like that. Was he 34, 35? How is he doing that? That try scored. That was absolutely remarkable. So, I'll give the Warriors this. What they've kind of built over the last couple of years, which they hadn't had before, was this relentless desire to win. That game would have just been tossed out as, oh, well, we've lost this one. We'll come back next week, and they could come back to Panthers next week. They could have lost to the Tigers in previous years, but they dug in real deep there. But it was, they were lucky to get away with a point. Like, it was absolutely a penalty at the end. Any Manly fan who's carrying on, that's not a penalty. You run to the kicker's leg, it's a penalty. Freddie Lussick got suspended for busting Lachlan Ilias's leg in almost an identical play. So there's absolutely no qualms over the penalty. But Sean Johnson didn't do himself any favours with the carry on at the end. But Chris Butler is unquestionably the dumbest referee in rugby league and the dumbest referee since Henry Perenara. And he was unquestionably going to fall for it. And he would not have blown a penalty had Sean Johnson not have carried on like that. So while there's deserved criticism for the wincing and the carrying on, like, he did get him a penalty and did get him a point. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And I don't believe in walking on the cricket field. There's an umpire to give you out, and if you can win yourself a penalty, well, then do it.
I haven't heard one single thing about Sean Johnson carrying on across the side of the Tasman, so it must be in Australia.
Oh, really? That's all that's being talked about over here.
No, he's the great. He's the GOAT. Sealy, you were live on ground. What was the atmosphere like early doors?
I just want to say that I thought Sean showed State of Origin-like toughness there to come back from such a crippling blow to his kicking leg to then, 30 seconds later, bang one over from 20 out in front. Like, that's something you tell your kids about one day when they ask about both mental and physical toughness. So well done.
John Sattler, Sam Burgess,
yeah.
Trevor Gilmeister getting out of hospital, Sean Johnson kicking off a broken leg.
Couldn't agree more, Teddy. There we go. But yeah, in terms of the atmosphere on the ground, Carl, I reckon at least 4,000 fans left with 10 minutes to go. And to be fair to them, the rain started coming in, that the wind was pretty nasty. So if you were in the south stand or some of those uncovered stands, then it was probably tough conditions to sit through. But yeah, a few Warriors fans need to take a good hard look at themselves in the mirror. Once that penalty was awarded, the place erupted. And golden point, no one sat down the whole time. It was pretty cool scenes. But yeah, unfortunately, not enough to get the win. But I think every Warriors fan would agree that we're grateful to get 1 point out of that, because that could prove very important come the back end of the season. And like Teddy said, in years gone by, we would have lost that game and it probably would have blown out. So well done to the lads.
But would it have been cooler if Juz Tavanga had have been racing Savina to race?
Absolutely.
Hanging on for second at the end of the game. Is that what would have made it even better to sit through?
Well, especially considering Jazz tore his hammy, that would have been a long race, and it would have been an interesting one to watch, because he's built different, Jazz. He's a tough bastard, so I reckon he would have still given it a crack with 2 points on the line. Or do you get 6 points if you win in a race at the end? Is that it? 6 NRL points if you win in a race?
Yeah.
I think that is clear the minor premiers. The rest of the season.
Paulie, Eels 27, Cowboys 20. I cannot get a read on either of these two teams. 1 week they win, the next week they lose when they shouldn't. But good win for the Eels.
Yeah, well, I think you can put a line through their performance against the Raiders the week prior. That they were diabolical. And look, I thought they did enough to win, which is what happened there. When Clint Gutherson is playing well, it usually means the Eels are playing well. I thought the forward pack laid a good platform for them. But the Cowboys went out. Yeah, these are two teams that I just get the feeling that one of them is going to drop out of the 8 and one will stay in. I don't.
I'll give you the tip. There's only one of them in the 8. Actually, none of them are in the 8.
No, but at the end of the season, I think one will be
Cowboys
there.
Cowboys are.
Yeah, one will be there and the other one won't. So, yeah, even though I think it was Blake that said the Eels were a top 4 go, And look, they're only a point outside the 8 at the moment, so they certainly haven't blown the season, but there's no sort of consistency across either team to have any real confidence in them going deep into the playoffs if indeed they do make the 8.
Rabbitohs 22, Sharks 34. Teddy, where to for the Bunnies?
Well, you would think that Jason Demetrio head is still on the chopping block. They got a buy. There was an expectation that they would sack him this week. Unquestionably the best effort that the Bunnies have put in, but to me that's probably more of an indictment on the side on Demetrio than anything else, that he had to dump Damien Cook and Latrell Mitchell's not playing to get the best out of the side. Like, he's going to have to deal with those two going forward. They're 2 of the 5 highest paid players in the team. They can't be playing New South Wales Cup and not playing at all. So they got Penrith and they got Melbourne after the bye. So I'll give you a tip: the state of execution is not a long-term scenario. I think they are quite happy to see this stretch out another couple of weeks, because that's a tough initiation for Ben Hornby, who'll get the gig. And all this talk about Melvin Inga being put in as interim coach, the fact he fell for it says plenty about Melvin Inga. Hot tip: New Zealand, Australia are ready to be beaten if Melvin Inga's coaching him still, because that is utterly ridiculous that he would even believe that would be a possibility. When was the last time a club hired an outsider as an interim coach? Fun fact: never. It's just like, yeah, the situation's just not great, but I think they're quite happy to buy a couple of weeks and a couple of floggings at the hands of Penrith and Melbourne. And I think that Demetrio is gone, and they'll bring in Ben Hornby, and he'll get a bit of a fresh start there. And I don't think there's any. Hornby's not going to be the long-term solution. They're going to go hard at Wayne. The interesting scenario of this is where Wayne will end up. I think Wayne wants to go to Parramatta, and there's a lot to play out. Parramatta are not renowned for second coaches. They're two coaches this century have lasted longer than a decade there. So that's a significant, 2 significant runs there. They're not quick at pulling the trigger, but if they want Wayne, they're gonna have to make a move on Brad Arthur pretty soon. Because the other thing at play here is that Shane Richardson and Wayne Bender are very close. There's been rumours going that Shane Richardson will go back to South. I don't think that's true. Him and Blake Solly going very well, but who knows how that plays out. So I think if Parramatta want Wayne Bennett, they're going to have to make probably a harsh call on Brad Arthur pretty soon. But yeah, it's tough business.
Coaching dominoes. All right. Tigers 12, Dragons 24, and Raiders 21, Titans 20. Surly, 2 very different games. Zach Lomax, again, very good for the Dragons, and a move to the halves for AJ Brimson in the Titans game. Saw them score some points.
Yeah, I was stoked to see Lomax named in the centres this week, because he's become one of the best wingers in the competition, that's for sure. And it'll be interesting if he gets offered that role in Origin, what he would say, whether he'd turn down the sky blue jersey. There's some sharp wingers out there, though. But well done to the Dragons. I thought the Tigers were really disappointing, and I think Lockie Galvin has probably become the most important 18-year-old in the competition, because they will be extremely happy to have him back this week. I thought their decision making in crucial times was really poor. And then on the other side, you got the Raiders just piling on the hurt for the Titans. You kind of felt a little bit sorry for them at times there, but they get the job done. And Ricky Stewart thought it was a refereeing masterclass from Badger there, who I note is the touch judge for the Warriors-Dragons game this weekend. So a bit of a demotion, but I think that press conference was more entertaining than the game.
I'd argue it's a promotion to get to the Warriors game, not a demotion, but
anyway.
Yeah,
fair. You're now in the feature match of the round, so that's a very good point.
All right, let's go to the NRL grid.
Oh,
This one was tough.
Tuesday. This was
16.
Friday. This was Friday in Augusta, wasn't it, Carl? The winds were up, and it was very difficult.
It was. If you're playing along at home, pause the pod, go find April 16th, and do your best. Corey Harawira-Naera, teammate, has played for Manly, started games at both wing and back row.
That's
across
cruel.
the top.
Worst. That was the worst one.
Down the left, has played for the Raiders, has scored 15 plus tries in a season, has played for the Dogs. Teddy, kick us off and give us your top row, please.
Well, I got one brain. I'm going to start in the first one. Harley Smith Shields, 0.35. Our teammate Raiders. Raiders Manly. I really struggle with this one. Sometimes you've got a heap of players to choose from. Michael Robertson was the best I could come up with, 8.21. And started games on both the wing and back row. Joey Leilua, picking over 17.04.
That's pretty good.
Mm.
Didn't feel
Silly,
like
you look like not good.
I don't know how I missed Joey Leilua there. I went a bit
Yeah,
rogue
me
and paid the price. But for a CHN teammate from the Raiders, I went with Zach Wolford at 0.9. I was surprised it was that low. Then for your Manly Raiders, I went with Danny Levi at 8 points. So I was stoked with that. And then I went a bit rogue here and went for WWE superstar Daniel Vido, who I thought he's built like a second rower, surely. And there was all that chat he would have played second row, 100 points, raised the bat, happy days. Call me a young Kane Williamson, one of the great knocks.
Shout out to Daniel Video. I think next 4 or 5 weeks in a row he's got a mention on this podcast now.
Yeah.
Huge.
He's a big fan.
He is a big fan. Paul, what do you got?
John Bateman, 1.28.
Wow.
Joel Thompson, 14.49. Leslie Vinacolo, 100.
Yeah, I almost put Leslie Vinacolo. I went and checked it afterwards, Paul. Couldn't believe he didn't play in the back row.
No, exactly.
All right. I tried to go with the most unmemorable player that's played for the Raiders, and I came up with Nick Kotrick, 3.33. Obviously not that unmemorable. Also went Joel Thompson, 14.49. Threw a dart here. Ruben Wiki, 100.
Might have played on a wing, but I'm guessing pre NRL
98.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Middle row, Ted.
Yeah, did awful on this one, I think. CHN teammate and scored 15 tries in the season. Jordan Rapana, 16.61. Manly, 15 tries in the season. I was pleasantly surprised with this one. David Williams, 3.11, the Wolfman. And I know there's a bit of laughing. I'm guessing there's a few similar answers, but I don't think there were that many answers to choose from.
We're in line for a bingo call here. Keep going.
Starting games on both the wing and back row. I reckon we are about to bingo this. Corey Oates, 15.29.
Oh, that's a good one. But
Yeah,
I got
that's
one
a good
better.
one.
I got 2 out of 3. Surly, what do you got?
For my teammate, 15 tries in a season, I went with Nick Kotrick, according to Carl, least memorable player, at 11.65. Then I had the Wolfman, David Williams as well, 3.11. And then I had T-Rex, Tony Williams, as my try scorer, wing back row, paying 10.95.
I'll jump in here because I've got Jordan Rapana, 16.61. David Williams, 3.11. And his brother, Tony Williams, at 10.95.
Long lost brother.
Very long lost brother. Who you got?
I've got Jordan Rapana at 16.61. Brett Stewart at 7.52. And then I picked the wrong baby giraffe. I went Kyle Felt. I should have gone Corey Oates. Kyle Felt, 100.
Down the bottom, Teddy, bottom row.
CHN teammate Bulldog. I went the other Sione Katoa, 1.79. The hooker. Probably the player I've used the most over the course of NRL grid, Manly and Bulldogs. Glenn Hall, 5.06. Playing for 5 or 6 clubs and not doing much, but being around a while certainly helped. And maybe not my least favourite Bulldog of all time. That's top spot's reserved for Sonny Bill Williams and second spot reserved for Joe McCracken. Fun fact, both Kiwis. Is Jade Knockenball, 5.90. Probably number 3.
Silly.
I got 2 brains here, so it's fizz.
Cool.
I went with one of the greatest halves ever in Brandon Wakeham for 1.01 points. Then I went with Sam Perrett's brother, Lloyd Perrett, 1.81.
That is a great get.
And then I also went Ockenbaugh for 5.9.
You want to go?
Whaamanu Brown for 1.41. One of Teddy's faves. Kieran Foran at 10.65. And Jaden Ockenbaugh at 5.90. And I knew Teddy was going to say that as soon as he said, this is one of my least favourite Bulldogs of all time.
I'll round this out. Remus Smith, 2.64. Another one of Teddy's favourites, Morgan Harper, 2.11. And I got the max points here without getting 100. Greg Eastwood, 26.74.
Oh,
He started the game on the wing.
Yeah, for the Broncos.
Wow, eh? I would not have guessed that for a million years.
Couple of games. Wayne had to put him out on the wing.
true.
All right. Totals, Teddy.
73.4.
Surly.
143.3.
Paul.
257.9.
And I had the perfect 180.
Yeah, nice.
The darts can't be too far away from coming to Hamilton, surely.
I know. That was tough.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into this week, real quick, new segment we're going to test out
What?
on the spot.
Oh,
I'm going to throw some sort of would you rathers, what ifs, this player versus that player at you guys.
Uh-oh.
Surely you mentioned it before. Joey Manu signed a deal to join Japanese rugby club Toyota Verblitz. So in spirit of that and superstars departing the great game that is NRL to rugby union, Teddy, you're going to love this. A good old-fashioned game of start, bench, cut. Start one, bench one, cut one. The players today, they all switch codes with varying success. They all played for the Kiwis, and they've all won an NRL premiership. Teddy, I'll go to you first. Start one, bench one, cut one. Benji Marshall, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Sonny Bill Williams.
I already know. Well, I know where one of them's going.
Starts Roger, bench Benji, and cut, and I mean that in the literal sense. No, of course not. But yeah, of course I'm cutting Sonny Bill Williams.
Yeah, that was always going to happen.
No, well,
What about you,
I believe the question was set up for that, but no exact response there.
No, I wouldn't do that. We're looking for some genuine content here. Surely, I think you're going to have a bit more trouble with this.
Is this based off their ability in rugby union? Because if so,
No.
then it makes it a whole lot easier.
No, this is
Across
This
both
is-
sports.
this is them in their absolute prime in the NRL.
Oh,
Okay. I'm starting Benji. I'm benching Roger and I'm cutting Sonny, but that is a very tough question because I love all three and I would start all three. I'd just cut everyone else, stuff them. But
It's not the
yeah,
not
that's
the
my
case.
answer.
Paul.
I'm going to start is Benji Marshall.
Benji Marshall.
Yeah, I'm going to start Benji. I'm going to bench SPW, and
Good.
I'm going to cut Roger. That's the response I wanted.
Gallium winning
I'm-
warrior. How dare you?
Just like you, Sealy, I'd start all three.
Thanks, Paulie.
Well, you might start all three, but only two will show up. One will be on a plane to France.
Oh, lest we forget. Wow.
I sense some Sonny Bill Williams hate here, just off the back fence. I don't know where I'm picking it up from, but my spidey senses are tingling
Oh.
that someone doesn't like Sonny Bill.
Welcome to our lives. About, what was it, 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh, wow. I'm not going to play because it's too hard. So we'll move on.
Oh, it's
I'll make
just
the
clicked for me. Bulldog supporter, Sonny Bill, right. The penny's just dropped. I got you.
Betrayed the Bulldogs and loved rugby union. That's a couple of big crosses in my book.
Yeah, you gotcha.
All right, let's look at this weekend. We'll start with the Roosters, $1.87, Storm, $1.87. Storm are half-point favourites. They've won 8 of the last 10 between these two. The average total points scored in the last 10 is just a tick over 36, and the average winning margin 14.1. Teddy, what else have you got for me in this game?
Yeah, don't love this as a betting game to kick off the week. Last week, tough one. Probably leans slightly towards Melbourne with their history, but like we talked about earlier, not convinced as to who they are. No Sam Walker, I think, is a concern there for the Roosters. Bet in the game, though, I'll be betting the under. You mentioned that just over 36 points. 7 of the last 11 have gone 36 or fewer. The under is hit 11 of their last 15. A couple of big underspots here for the Roosters as well. 9-3, the under when they play at Allianz. It's gone under in 11 of the last 12 Roosters games off a win. So I'll be backing the under with a little bit of confidence, but no real view on the side as a kind of confident play.
Surly, any thoughts either way?
I noticed Sam Walker's on that extended bench, but I'll be interested. Like,
They ran out of players. They ran out of players to be able to name. So they've named him on the bench, but he's no chance of playing, haven't they?
Yeah, gotcha. Because it's been interesting. Those two have been playing better without each other. Like whenever Walker's in and Carey's not, they've been better. Whenever Carey's in and Walker's not, they've been better. And I thought Connor Watson was actually quite good at 6 last week. But much like Teddy said, this one's a coin toss for me. So I like the unders. And Xavier Coates, he scored 7 tries in his last 3 games against the Chooks. So you could chuck him in for a meat pie as well. But I think we're going to find out a lot about both of these sides because they're just so hard to get a read on the both of them.
Question: would you consider keeping Joey Manu at fullback and moving James Tedesco to the centres?
No.
Okay.
No.
Look,
I think Manu's a better right now at their respective stages of their careers. I think Manu's a better fullback and a better centre than Tedesco. I think the balance is better for the Roosters with Teddy at the back and Joey in the centres.
Also, I don't know if you heard this, but he's going to rugby union, so I don't think they're about to move their club captain away for a rugby union player.
Do they want to make the 8 this year? Just saying. Ran for, 597 metres last week?
Yeah, but they only won by 2.
And it was only 1 more metre than Chance Nickel-Clockstad, who people forget. Like, that's been swept under the rug. What a performance. Anyhow.
Yep. Roger at fullback, they said. No way. Dragons, $2.70. Warriors, $1.44. Warriors are 6.5-point favourites. I was surprised to learn that the Warriors have won 7 of the last 10 against the Dragons because the Dragons have, in the past, been one of the Warriors' bogey teams, Ted.
For 20 years, it was one of the greatest bets go around. It didn't matter if the game was played in Auckland, Wollongong, Sydney, or Mars. You'd just be on the Dragons every which way. So, yeah, Dragons Plus is one of my better bets of the week. Not surprising, big home underdog. They cover at 65%, plus 6.5. I'm a little concerned the Dragons are off a win. But while the Warriors have been winning against the Dragons have covered 4 of the last 5. They're particularly good at Wollongong. The Dragons covered 12 of 16 at Wollongong, 8 of the last 10 as an underdog at Wollongong, 7 of 8 as an underdog of at least a try at Wollongong. I think the Warriors are a better team. There's no doubt about that, but you've got to factor in the travel here. It's a pretty short week for the travel as well for the Warriors. They've covered just 6 of their last 16 as a favourite of 4 or more. They've covered just 11 of their last 32 of conceding 22 plus. So very confident the Dragons plus. I do think the Warriors will probably win the game, but plus 6.5 will be all over. I see Surly shaking his head aggressively.
How many do they win by, Surly?
Well, you already know where I'm going with this, but
Does it begin with a 1 and end in a 3?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. The Dragons, they've won. Exactly. They've won back-to-back games since 2022. I don't think they get it done here. They've lost 8 of their last 9 games on a 5-day turnaround, which this one is as well. And all of their games this year have been decided by 8 or more. The line's at 6.5, but I'll sell you all with the Warriors 13 plus. And I think we could get a debut as well to young enforcer in the propping stocks in Zion Mau'u, who's been named in jersey 18. I saw Pompey named in 17. It'll be a very small bench if we ran out with Chanel and then Pompey. I guess Chanel could move to lock and you play Tohu in the middle. But I think Zion could be in with a sniff here to debut as well, which would be exciting for Warriors fans.
Where would Pompey play if he was to come on? That was my question when I saw the team.
I think
Absolutely.
I think the big thing this year that we've seen is if teams lose a centre or a wing straight away, it means that you lose because all attack just goes down that side and teams get exposed. So it does semi make sense, but I think against a big Dragons pack, we're going to need some punch through the middle, and Zion gives us that both literally and figuratively. Fresh off a suspension, he's not afraid to get into the rough stuff.
Where are you leaning this way?
I love the Wars. Give me the Wars. Give me the Wars. 13 and over. I don't care what Teddy said. I know that this has been a bogey. From 2004 to 2015, the Warriors won one game out of 16 against the Dragons. They really, really were the bogey team, and their record over there was poor as well. They beat the Dragons 48-18. Wollongong last season.
Looking for 3 in a row
at
Wollongong.
I like the fact that Lomax is moving into the centres.
Yeah.
That I just think that he's been playing so well on the wing there. I just think this upsets the balance. He's sort of getting what he wants, but I don't think it's going to be good for the Dragons. So, and I like the Wars to bounce back after that tough. They didn't deserve the point last week, and they got out of jail.
I'd argue they did. But...
Their set completion was just poor, especially in that first half. I'm looking for a big bounce back here, and I love 13 and over, Teddy. 13 and over. Bet of the week.
Hey.
Ben Hunt scares me in this game, and I've got no facts to back this up, but Ben Hunt seems to love playing the Warriors and always seems to do well and score tries. But
on the game, Carl, I'm not convinced that Lomax won't play a fair portion of that game on the wing. I think there'll be a lot of swapping around. I expect that Lomax will be on the wing for kick returns, going back for kicks, and Lomax will be on the wing at the end of sets, going up for the bombs. I expect that they will surely not back away from that. That would be absolutely moronic. And against the Warriors, Carl, Ben Hunt's played the Warriors 23 times and scored 3 tries. So,
told you I had no facts to back it up.
It's the club he scored the least amount of tries against, I think.
Okay. Maybe, do you have disallowed tries in there?
What about his cousin Carmichael?
Eels $1.40, Dolphins $2.85. Eels are 8.5 point favourites. Teddy, surely they get the dub here based on last week?
Yeah, obviously no Hamiso is huge. This game's in Darwin. This is played last year on a neutral venue as well. Sunny Coast, Power won 48-20. I don't love the Eels here in this spot. They've covered just 4 of the last 14 in the state. They're not a good travelling team, but I can't get overly confident. The injuries have hit the Dolphins hard right now, so probably small in the plus, but very, very, very keen on the over in this game. 44.5 is the number. The over is 11-3 when the Eels are in the state, 21-13 when they're favourite, 13-4 when they're favourite away from Combank. The Dolphins 6-2 over when they're in the state, 6-1 over when they're off scoring 14 or fewer. So absolutely love this. They still tallied 68 points last year when they turned bet. So I'll be backing the over with a good deal of confidence.
All right. Surly Panthers $1.19, fresh off the bye. Tigers $4.50. 13.5 point favourites. Surely it is one-way traffic here.
I think this one in Bathurst, is it?
It is half an hour down
Yeah.
the road from me, so I'll be in attendance this year. So
There
very
we go.
excited.
There we go. And I think the Tigers, the bet Penrith 3 times out of their last 7 games, so you could say that that's probably their bogey side because the Panthers don't lose too often. But yeah, surely Penrith get it done fresh off the back of a bye. Obviously, they would have loved to have Nathan Cleary back, but after what we saw from the Tigers last week, you'd assume that the Panthers have too many threats. They welcome back Sorensen as well, which I think will be big for them. So yeah, I'll just be taking Penrith to get it done. But if Benji could cook up an upset here, that would be massive.
Paul, I'll go to you. Titans, $3.20, Manly, $1.34, Manly, 9.5-point favourites. Signs of life from my Titans last week.
Yeah, fake news. Forget about it. Look, they'll get up and for a few games. This is a poor team. Jaden Campbell out. They lose a bit with that. I think the Sea Eagles will be disappointed that they didn't come away with the 2 points from Go Media last weekend. No. This is Manly.
What do the stats say, Ted?
This is a chips and job on the Titans in this one.
Yeah, here we go. Tell
Home
me more.
Home dogs are 4 and more. Rounds 1 to 8 cover 65%, so it's a natural starting point here. They've won the last 2. They've covered 15 and 25 against them. Manly are horrible as a favourite away from Brooklyn. Covered just 3 of the last 11. Poor Travellers. I'm all over the Titans in this one. And a fun little fact, well, this will be among my best bets. I don't usually go to the try scorers. You get about $4 AJ Brimson to score a try. He scored 12 tries in 30 games starting at 5'8". Like, he gets his hand on the ball a lot more, obviously. He's a runner, so that's a good little bet there for the punters.
Very good. I don't think the Titans will come last either, the way the Bunnies are going.
Still in my spoon.
I'm just struggling to bet on a team that has Philip Sammy as their fullback. If that is your best attacking weapon to inject into the one jersey, then
Would you take Philip Sammy or Nick Tedeschi at fullback?
I'll take Teddy. I'll let you decide what Teddy it is.
Dogs, Broncos $1.41, Raiders $2.80. Broncos 7.5-point favourites. They've won 6 of the last 10. Teddy, and the Raiders have only won as Suncorp twice since 2009.
Yeah, the Raiders just aren't very good, so that's the main thing here. They're at the top of the ladder. They're at the top of the ladder. They have beaten up on on the other side of that Mitchell Moses. They've been up on the Tigers in their first game of the season. They got lucky against the Titans, and also they rolled someone else there. I remember I bet Newcastle, who I think are on the ordinary side as well. So I think, as much as I slammed the Broncos earlier in the episode, this is exactly the kind of game that they can run up a score. And I think if they get going early, this could get ugly for the Raiders. I'm very keen the minus here. A couple of notes as well. Broncos have covered 7 of the last 8 at Suncorp. They've covered 15 of 23 off win of 13 plus. Covered 11 of the last 13 at night. There's a few ticks in that one here. Raiders covered just 17 of 48 scoring 20 plus. Ricky is blocking there. I kind of suspect Ricky knows they're not very good, and he's just trying to, kind of extend this run as long as possible. I think it comes credit. I think this could be a 40-50 plus job.
Wow. Okay. Dogs $1.95, Knights $1.83. Surely this is truly one of the dog fights of the round. 4 p.m. on Sunday. What do you think?
Yeah, heading into this one, I like the Dogs just off the back of their performance last week, and I think the Knights have been so hit and miss. Then I saw that they hadn't bet the Knights at home since 2014, and the Knights have won 5 of their last 6 against the Dogs. But even still, there's just something about this Bulldogs side at the moment and the way they're playing. They're tough, they hang in, and I like them to get the dub here. I was surprised that they weren't clear favourites, so I'll be jumping on the Dogs.
I'd say get on early on that one as well if you want to back him. He was named, well, they're both named, but I don't think Kalen Ponga and Dango are going to play. You'll notice David Armstrong was named in the 22 jersey. He's the backup fullback. They've given him time to get through, but I think Kalen Ponga is a very, very, very unlikely chance. If that happens, Dogs will jump 6.5-point favourites here.
Get on now, punters.
I really like the Dogs. They're my second bet of the week. I just like them even with Ponga in the team. They've shown enough over the last couple of weeks that they're not the pushovers, that they're actually trying. They appear to have a game plan these days as well. Yeah, I'd love it if it was at Belmore, even more. But just the fact that Connor Tracy is at the back, it's got a better balanced look to the side. That forward pack will have to really step up against the Knights. But look, if we go to Golden Point, appropriately, this could go to a joust.
Tell you what, Bronson Cherry is looking massive in the centres.
If he learns to pass,
Huge.
he'll be unstoppable.
He was, sorry?
If he learns to pass, he'll be unstoppable. He left Paul Fox open 3 or 4 times on the weekend.
Did put him over one side.
Like, the more he plays, the better. He's just one of those players who's got the ability. And we haven't played for 4 years. His timing is all off in a lot of things. Like, he's kind of playing well on raw ability right now. So once he kind of gets into the rhythm and understands the system and understands where the game's at, I think he's going to be sensational by the end of the year.
Nice. Sharks $1.69, Cowboys $2.13. I think I'm living in the early 2010s because this is another one I was surprised to learn that the Sharks have won 9 of the last 10, Teddy.
No, that they won 14 of the last 17 and covered 14 of the last 17. Yeah, very keen on the Sharks here. Just a little Cowboys in a reasonably, I wouldn't say rare, but kind of uncommon spot, back-to-back interstate games. Team since 2008 in that spot, covered 44%. When the Rougher lost in that first one, 42%. So they're just in a massive, massive lay spot here. Cowboys, the coach is 9 of the last 26. I'm just a pure believer, like you said last week, that Parramatta, Cowboys, mixing fortunes. Not for mine. Like, Cowboys are just a team you back at home, and it's a team you play against when they're on the road. But there is no way this should be under 4. I think Sharks are being incredibly disrespected here. I know they've got some injuries, and Sammy Katoa's the last one to miss. They're about 10 than the Cowboys in Sydney at least. -2.5. Absolutely, they'll be winning this one.
Where are you sitting, Surly?
Yeah, I'm going with the Sharkies. I back them in to win this game. Stats all suggest it. And for me, the Cowboys, like, some weeks I love them, and then the other weeks they really let me down. I think that they're their own worst nightmare with their set completions and things like that. I love watching Drinkwater play, but geez, he can be a real roller coaster as well. So I'll be backing the Sharks just because I think they're more consistent.
Would you take Drinkwater or Nick Tedeschi at fullback?
Oh, here we go.
This time I think I'd go with Drinkwater. No offense, Teddy.
I can live with it. I think he's both a better fullback and probably a better person. So we'll go with Drinky.
If you send me your highlights reel, though, Teddy, I'm happy to change my mind, mate. A few goosies in the lounge, I'll run an eye over it.
I would pay good money to see a video of Teddy throwing some goosies in the lounge.
This is heading in a direction I'm not really comfortable with.
Who do you like, Sharks or Cowboys?
Sharkies at Shark Park, thank you.
All right. So we get to some betting, fellas. As it always is, we've got $100 to spend on anything we like. So listen up, punters. We'll start with Teddy, as we always do. Sounds like he's got a few nuggets for us this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go 25 on the Dragons plus 6.5. 25 on the Titans. What do you have there? Plus 10.5, was it? Plus 8.5?
9.5.
Plus 9.5. 25 on the Broncos minus 7.5, was it?
Yep.
15 on the treble, the first 3, and 10 on AJ Brimson to score a try in $4.
Jeepers. How much on the treble?
A lot of action. 15 on the treble and 10 on Brimson.
We're just going to have to play that one back. That's too much.
A lot of action this week.
A lot of action. Surly, will you imagine one bet, one big long multi, same game multi?
So you've given me $200 here, which I think you're going to come to regret because both of these bets are going to win, and it's pretty much going to end the season.
Hang on. How far in the hole is he?
Surly is. Where's Surly? That's Teddy. He is minus 287.
Easy money.
Let's go. What do you got?
All right, I've got the Dogs to win, the Warriors -6.5, and the unders in the Roosters Storm game. I've got 180 on that, returning $1,220. And then this is where it gets leery. I've gone a meat and potato bet. I couldn't help myself. So I'm chucking $20 on Jackson Ford, who's the meat in this one, because he's paying good money against his old side, Revenge, paying $4.50 to Dot. And I've surrounded him with the potatoes, which is Fox, Saab, and Taruva. Those four to score, $33.53. That,
much is
ladies
going
and
in there?
gentlemen, is how you spend $200.
Holy moly.
It was 80-20. It was the first one, Dogs, Warriors -6.5, and unders in the Roosters game.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know
How
what to say.
scared?
A little bit, because I feel like that could work.
Thank you.
Nothing from Blake yet. I'm sure he'll send us through that he loves it. Paulie, what do you got?
I'm splitting my 100, two $50 bets. The first bet is Broncos head-to-head, Dogs head-to-head, Eels head-to-head, Wars -6.5. That comes out to $7.31, 50 on that. And then the boys have been kind enough to put a little boosted market out in the Wars game. DWZ to score a try and the Wars to win by 13 or more, boosted from 375 out to 425. The other 50 goes on that one there. Thank you very much. 2 wins. Bang, bang, bang.
I think
That's
DW,
pretty bang.
The boogies know what they want to. The boogies know what they want to lay.
You just cursed it, Paulie, because you said 2 wins and then you went bang, 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 which means that there's 3 wins involved there. So you've just ruined it.
The third bang was me yelling, standing over Teddy's body as I've knocked him out.
Okay.
we are off the rails here. I've also got 2 $50 bets, and being 400 up, I've got the luxury of having a go, you could say. My safe bet of the week: Storm head-to-head into Broncos head-to-head, 50 on at $2.63. And then 50 on a power play in the Warriors game, very similar to you, Paul. DWZ first, second, or third try scorer, and Warriors win at $4. I think he scored 4 last time they played.
He scored 2 last week.
He did, and I was there. That is us. Anything else, fellas? Any nice words you want to say to anyone, Teddy?
No. You managed to team me up with some Sunny Bill and some rugby there, so I'm not full of the nice words today. But well, one little note: big watch on the Broncos Raiders game. Chris Butler will referee that, and Casey Badger will be in the box. So I'm sure nothing can possibly go wrong. Can possibly go wrong in that one.
And that will do us, punters. Thank you very much for listening, boys. Thank you for joining us, Teddy and Surly. Really appreciate it. Paul, as always. And to the punters out there, we will see you next week to do it all again. Cheers.